Welcome to Behind the Wheel, a Rotary District 7505 video series. I'm your host, Pete Berthaud, and I'm a member and past president of the Marlton Club in South Jersey. This episode features an interview with Bordentown Rotary Club member and future 7505 District Governor Bill Mercantini. Bill, thanks for being here today.
I'm glad to be here, Pete.
The goal, and this is just to remind the listeners of our Behind the Wheel series, is to keep our current Rotary Club members informed on upcoming initiatives while also showcasing our district to a broader audience by educating the public about our charitable endeavors. And so Bill is here today to talk about his story and how it led to a program called Rotary for Recovery. And I want to just start off with a little bit about your background and how you got started in Rotary, Bill.
All right, so we got to flash back to 2017. I was still working. I'm retired now, active in local politics in Bordentown, and had just become vice president of the Bordentown Board of Education. And at the time, the superintendent was also the Rotary president. So he says, it's real important, you're on a school board, you ought to join Rotary. Well, I knew Rotary. I heard of Rotary. I didn't think Rotary was for me. I wasn't that type of person. But, I had some political aspirations at the time, so it sounded like a good deal. So I joined the Bordentown Rotary, and I went to my first meeting at Mass Stories Diner, and I liked it. And make a short, funny story about it. I came back a week later to another breakfast meeting, and about halfway through the meeting, I stepped out of the room to excuse myself. This is the God's honest truth. When I came back, Ed comes over to me and he says, "Listen, you're going to be president next year."
That's what happens, right? You miss a meeting and you're president.
I tell people this story all the time and they laugh at me, but I'm telling you, if you miss a meeting, you're going to be president. So I said, "What do you mean I'm going to be president? I just joined." They said, "Listen, kid can't do it. We're in a bind. You're new. You're a fresh face. I think it would work, and I think you'll be fine at it. It'll give you the exposure you want for your politics. It'll help you with the school board. It's a perfect scenario, Okay. So I said, "All right, we'll do it." So the kid I had to replace got a promotion, and he was going to be out of the state too much. It wasn't going to work. So that was, beginning of the year.
So you got a crash course, you had
crash course.
You had to just go for it.
It was like a week before Pets. I go to Pets. I do all that stuff. I go to other trainings. And then July comes and I take over. So about a day or two before the changeover, the secretary says to me, "You got to have a goal, Bill." So ain't nobody told me nothing about no goal. Says, "All right. So here's the idea. I have a very at the time. Now here's the sad part. My son died. I lost my son in 21. 33 years old, good kid, smart kid, just addicted to heroin. Couldn't fight it. Just couldn't do it. 16 years. Was no joke. Just it's the way it is. And I tell people I'm the A-Rod of parenting because, believe it or not, his older brother, who's only 18 months older than him, is a senior chief with 20 years in the Navy.
Wow.
So I am truly the A-Rod of parenting, 500. Lifetime batting average, 500. All right, so to get back.
I appreciate your ability to be a little lighthearted because that's a very tough thing to recover from. And that kind of leads me to Rotary for Recovery. And I think that's where you're headed next. And that's a program that you started within the Bordentown Club, correct?
That's right. So the goal was, what a better goal? What better goal? So we're trying to get young professionals off the ground. All right. We're trying to build a youth satellite, whatever you want to call it. So what better way to hit them with something that is so close to their age group? Now, it's a depressing thought, but think about it. You want to do something? You want to get involved in service? All right. Here's something that's hitting your generation hard. You could do so. You could make a statement. So I get up in front of the crowd. They swear me in. And I said, first thing I said was, you know what? Everybody got to put their money where their mouth is. I'm going to start. I'm taking my foundation deposit to $100 a month. So I did that. Right. And since then, I'm almost a major donor. I'm very close to being a major donor. So that was number one. Number two, I said, now let's talk about a goal. I want to have a goal to help Bordentown help with this drug epidemic, this heroin thing. At that time, we had already lost 6 kids that all, they were well-known young men and women in the community, all dead. All dead. One family lost 2, a brother and a sister, within a year and a half of each other. So these young kids that were all joining Rotary at the time, well, they took this on. It was phenomenal. They were crying. They were like, "Oh my God, this is it. This is it." It was, you would thought you was at the Oscars. And the next thing you know, they came up with, we didn't even have this thing. They came up with this. They came up with the logo. They came up with the sweatshirts. By November, we did our first walk. We raised $2,000. We bought a licensed program. We got into the schools. We were talking to kids. We were talking to scouts. We were hitting the police department. We were working with other groups, the FAR, Recovery Advocates of America, BRAD, which is Bordentown Parents Against Drugs. And we were just rocking. We were rocking. And then we had the golf tournament.
I remember reading about that online. Yeah.
The Rotary for Recovery golf tournament raised $40,000 for recovery.
That's unbelievable. Wow.
And you know what? And then COVID hit. COVID hurt us. I'm not going to lie. COVID hurt a lot of things. Mm-hmm. All right. We lost the schools. We lost track. But what we didn't lose, we didn't lose in the very beginning. It actually helped with addiction in a little bit. COVID actually helped. It got the people off the street. It slowed the drugs down. The kids were able to get some help. But COVID was the underlying problem. But then what happened was when COVID started dragging on and the isolation and all that, well, guess what? Then you got a spike.
Gotcha.
You got the spike. You got the people couldn't go to meetings. They couldn't go here. They couldn't go to the doctors. They couldn't get their help. And next thing you know, the funny thing is, and I know it's not funny, but here's the thing. When we started this, 100 ODs a day in New Jersey. Nationwide, too, 100. That's about the average. You know what it is today? It's 300. It's not going away. It's not going away.
And what was the year that you got this up?
We started in 17.
Okay, 17. That's right. You had mentioned that.
We had a good 2-year run. COVID slowed us down, but we're back now. We're doing a lot of stuff. We're helping a FAR, which is a Future After Rehab. We're helping Stacey Ross's group. We're working diligently with the hotels and some other programs to make packages for mothers and addicted people that are living in these roadside hotels. Like if you go to Bordentown, there's a lot of them. So we're getting out there. We're trying to get back to it. We're making some headway. We're working with Interact, which is part of Rotary. And, we just got a call from Brad, which for a while was dormant because of COVID, but they're back. And they definitely want to team back up and get back into the streets. And we're very, very proud that this year, we actually had a great walk. We never stopped having the walk. Even through COVID, we did our walks. Okay. And we did raise some money and the numbers were good. But this year, we had an exceptional walk. We probably had about 400 people show up. We walked from the Hope Post Firehouse in Bordentown all the way up through the restaurant district, candles, all our shirts on. It's all about the people that we lost. And we get the police out there, and we got local politicians, and we got the churches, and it was a great year. But here's the best part. So Jimmy Lynch, former commissioner here in town, calls me up, and he says, "Bill, I want to get the bicycle program back up." And I think that is key. It's hard to chase a kid down an alley with a car, but you can chase a kid down the alley with a bicycle. You can be a presence on the platform for the light rail on a bicycle. You don't have to do anything. Just be there on a bicycle, sitting on a bicycle, right? But here's the best part. You could just be uptown, riding your bike around, doing your thing. You're the cop. And maybe, just maybe, somebody in trouble might walk up to you and say, you know what? I hear you're not locking anybody up for drugs, and I want some help.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There is no more lockup. They're straight to treatment. 95% of all the police departments around this area all do straight to treatment. And we thought that if there's a presence where it's just one cop on a bicycle, maybe that one kid would go up and say, hey, I need some help.
And what is your role when it comes to getting that done? How does Rotary for Recovery work with that organization to make it with the police to make that happen?
All right, so the police commissioner, Jimmy Lynch, calls me up and he says, I need this bicycle thing done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, how much you need? I'll get back to you. So me and a couple of the committee members, we went to the chief of police and we sat with the chief of police. This is what you have to do. You have to get out in the community. All right. And I want to make this really strong point here, Pete. I am not asking anybody in Rotary to come to Bordentown and help me. I can help Bordentown. I'm a Bordentown third generation. I love Bordentown. I will help Bordentown, Florence, Roebling, Fieldsboro, and whatever. I don't need help. I want you to help your town. I want you as a Rotary member to think about what you can do to stem the tide of this opiate scourge, right? Get with your local politicians, get with the police department, get with the teachers, the guidance counselors, get with the parents who lost kids. I guarantee you that most towns, believe it or not, you'll have a house somewhere in your town. It might be a recovery house. See if they need help. If
We
they
do have
don't,
one. We in Marlton here.
So why don't you go over there and knock on the door? Say, well, listen, we're from the Rotary. Is there anything we can do for you? Is there anything we can help you with? Scholarships? I don't know. Whatever it takes to get that one person who's come out of rehab back on his feet, right?
And that's your ultimate goal.
That's all it is.
Is to get Rotary for Recovery more prevalent within the district. Like if in your perfect district, every club would have a recovery aspect.
A committee, just a committee that can go out and help. We're talking service. Now, let me tell you something. The best part about the bicycles, so we do this bicycle thing. Now you got Tom, our present district governor. You got the big guy out there in Chicago, Gordon, talking about mental health. And then they're talking about partnerships, and they're talking about this, and they're talking, right? So what do? Right? Hey, Bordentown Elks, you do a drug awareness program, don't you? Yeah. Well, I call him the Grand Poobah, whatever the top dog at the Elks is. I forget what you call him, right? The Grand Knight, whatever. He's retired Bordentown sergeant. He's a retired Bordentown police sergeant.
So he's connected.
So we go to him and we say, listen, we got this idea. They need bikes. Let's partner up. So the bikes cost us almost $6,000. We put up 2,800. The Elks put up 2,800. So we nailed it. We nailed it across the board. We got community involvement. We got partnership. We got awareness. We got service above self. We did it all.
And that's kind of what I was wondering is when you raise this money through a walk or through your golf tournament or whatever, yes, you can donate the money, but it's about being more creative than just that, right? Like finding something like that is a different angle, those bicycles, but any organization that could use the money to help with addiction is where you put your money. Like, do you have other examples of where you will donate money?
Glad you asked that. So we work with a group called the FAR. They're out of Burlington. Now, this group is very close to my heart. My son lived in their house for a while. The whole group is a 503(c) created by parents who lost somebody to addiction.
Wow.
There's actually a woman on the board. She lost both her children.
Oh, goodness gracious.
All right. And she doesn't. She spends. This is what she does. This is how she deals with it. She works. She works at this. So Afar had all met through Naranon. So Naranon is the parent wing of, Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous. It's for parents. It's not for addicted parents.
Okay.
It's for parents to deal with an addicted child or an addicted spouse or, somebody in the family. So they met and they started realizing how bad it really is out there. You have these houses, these companies, Medicare. My son used to tell me about how bad it was in Florida, places, irreputable, just no good. Now you have great places. If you got money, you go to great places. But if you ain't got no money, some places are not so reputable. So these people got together and said, you know what, we're going to start our own. And they did it. They got donations, they got scholarship money, they got grants, and they started with 1, 2, 3, 4. They're up to 5 houses now.
Wow.
Right? They got 3 in Burlington, 1 in Bordentown, 1 in Hamilton. 2 females, 3 males, $125 a week, and they feed you. They got a strict program. 90 days, 90 meetings. And I'm going to be nasty here. Don't fuck up because you start all over again. Mm-hmm. They care. These people care. So if your club is looking to support something, don't support me. Find something like Afar or contact Afar and see if you can help them because they can always use the help. You can always use help.
And just to kind of summarize what we've been talking about here, because I'm going to let you go in a minute, but Rotary for Recovery, the main focus is to bring education and awareness to their local community, support those who are struggling to recover from addiction. That's what it's all about. And you also have talked about breaking the stigma of addiction.
Absolutely.
And can you mention that? Like what, and the mental illness aspect?
So if anybody thinks that you want to get high, I want to get high. I want to get addicted to opiates. I want to get heroin I want to shoot heroin. I want to stand on a corner and beg for money. I want to die at 23. Look, it's a disease like anything else. All right. You're born with it. I don't care what you want. Categorize it any way you want. Some people just can't get it, but it's a disease. All right. And mental illness plays a very, very big part of it. All right. If you're depressed, if you're bipolar, if you don't mesh, if you don't feel right about who you are, what you are, or if you don't fit in, right, and you're looking for something, unless there's something out there to bring you along and help you, the bad stuff will find you. Mm-hmm. My son drifted. We tried a lot of stuff. He always said, Dad, heroin's the only thing that makes me feel cool. And that is pathetic. And I'm going to leave everybody with this one thought. This is for me. I think my son got tired. I'm not going to say it in a way that sounds cold. I think my son got tired. My son had just come off a 50-day rehab. All he talked about was going to his stepbrother's wedding. I found him the next morning dead. I think that Nick had, when he went away that last time, it was one of the worst I've ever seen him. Mm. He got sober and then he relapsed the next day. Got sober and he relapsed the next day. And what happens is sometimes they do what they're used to doing after being clean for 50 days. Well, it's almost impossible to do it. Or there's another reason. You get to a point where you almost come to peace with it. Mm. And you
can't fight.
You can't fight no more. And you know what? It's been almost 3 years. My son is with my mother and father and my grandparents. I'm not saying we're not unhappy. I mean, he's not here, but we don't have that sitting there 2:00 in the morning looking for that phone call. We don't have the phone call where I have to go dig him out of a trap house. We don't have to worry about him. We don't have to send him away no more. He's at peace. We're at peace. And to tell you the truth, we all get along now. There's no more fighting over who's right, who's wrong. So I spend my time and I cope with it the way I cope with it. Some people might say, how do you do that? Well, this is how I do it.
You
This
throw
is how
yourself into this cause, and
this is
that's
how I do it because I have friends. I'm not by myself in this. I have a lot of friends here in Bordentown, Columbus, that are like me. We're parents, and we're going Easter Sunday. We're stopping at the graveyard. It's not a cool thing, but you know what? If I can keep one kid, or better yet, if I can keep one parent happy, it's worth every minute. It's worth it because that's what my Nick would want.
and I
That's what my
think
Nick.
and I think you're accomplishing that goal. And hopefully through this video and through your time in the Rotary and when you ascend to your district governor role, this will become more and more a thing throughout the district. And we encourage the district clubs to get in touch with Bill if you need advice on how to get started. But I can't thank you enough for your time today.
And,
This is a very powerful message. Go ahead.
and one last thing, I have to say this for the district. Please do not think that District Governor Bill Mercantini is all about this. All right. I want everybody to understand something. This is just a part of what I look forward to. But my soul, my Rotary persona is service. I never used to look at it like that. But I want to emphasize to everybody, not only club members, but aspiring club members, if you're looking for something to do and you want to help, or you have a passion, or you see a need, go to a meeting. Go to your local Rotary meeting, or find somebody in Rotary and talk to them and say, hey, I saw that podcast about, Rotary for Recovery. You know what? I got a lot of addiction in my family. I'd like to do something like that. Maybe I can help here in town with that, or anything like service above self and the Rotary mantra. Come on out, have some fun, make some friends, and you might find your passion.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to put it and a great way to end. Just so people know, is there a good way to get in touch with you via email or anything like that?
Listen, if you're in Rotary, you can get me on Club Runner, you can get me through the district.
Okay.
You can get me through Bordentown Rotary, right? And I'm also a real estate agent. I'm not trying to sell them, but
no, I know. But they can find you.
Just go online, look for Bill Mercantini Realtor, and I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on all of them. You'll find I'm easy to find.
Yeah, and I've been calling Bill to set this up, and he always picks up. So that's always a plus. Thank you so much again. This was very informative. And until next time, this has been Behind the Wheel.